It's the C2 men, and all that is going to be played out on this stretch of water. This is Camps Drift. It was designed and built here in 1982, and it's built on the Umsindoozi River. Down on the bottom right, you'll see the NCC clubhouse. It stands for the Natal Canoe Club, one of the oldest clubs around here, and the start pontoon immediately below the clubhouse. This is the format we're going to be racing in today. It's been exactly the same. It's a 3.4 kilometer lap in total. We're racing on the Umsindoozi River, or the Doozi as it's abbreviated, for the famous annual Doozi Canoe Marathon. You head up to the top silt weir. It's a paddle of 1.3 kilometers. You turn around and you paddle back down river. The first lap is a full unbroken lap under the bridge, which takes you under Camps Drift Drive, a gradual left bend to the bottom turn can. The first lap is a complete one. There's no portage. But from the second lap onward and every subsequent lap, the paddlers will, at the end of each lap, come into the portage. It's a jetty-style takeout, a jetty that leads to a small grass embankment and then a natural grass portage. It's a portage of about 100 meters. You then descend by a short bank down to the river, another jetty put in. And on the final lap, after that final put-in, you then head upriver to a set of 5 turn cans that demarcates the short turn. It's 500 meters up, 500 meters back, the finish line in front of you, and that is where the champions are decided. So Camps Drift, it's a, well, it says a 3.6 kilometer course there. We now know from the GPS that it's actually 3.4.
In Belcher, Mason, we saw Belcher yesterday, properly impressive.
And she's still buzzing.
But above them, Brooks and Peters, they were 4th last year and would have been stronger, I think. They had a few portage problems last year. They did a lot of catching up, and they've been very strong in the sprint season this year. Up at the top of the screen, you got Ward and Russell. Ward, obviously, 2nd place last year, different partner, KII purchase last year. Obviously, a change there. You'll probably know more about that than I will. But here at the bottom, Che and Barra, world champion, Kisley and Mihalik. Kisley 2nd yesterday, Mihalik 1st in the under-23s. Mihalik 2nd last year at the World Championships, or 3rd rather last year at the World Championships with another partner. You can never write the Hungarians off.
And there's Kajak-Kenu in lane 11.
Lane and Broughton. Ray and Hogan, bit of local interest there as well. Ray obviously from South Africa originally. She's gone out to America to be their high performance coach out there. Hogan was her athlete that she took to the Olympic Games in Rio. All the way cleanly this time.
That's far more like it.
Blue boat in the middle, Belcher and Mason. White boats on the right, the 2 Hungarians. Brooks and Peters in the white boat in the centre. They're fastest away as we thought they might be. And Spain this side, which is Alvarez and Arquero. But it's Hungary, Great Britain, Belgium.
Super start for Belgium. And a terrible start for the South Africans.
World's 500 metres just a couple of weeks ago. And they are a very, very well-drilled crew. It's just whether they can cover it, who by this time yesterday in the K1 had already taken a swim. She's just about making contact with the Backison a lot. I know they've got personal bests and records back home. Kisley Mihalik taking the lead there.
Getting a nice slingshot coming out of the corner, Mihalik and Kisley, going past Belcher and Mason. Jenna Ward and Nikki Russell right at the back of that bunch, flailing away. They're desperately trying to work their way back into a stronger position.
It's Rosenkilde and Hansen in the turn really well. It's Che who's suffering. She's trying to stay in the V. It's going to work out okay for her.
Belcher seems to have a very similar race plan from yesterday so far, asserting her dominance from early on. And she's proved she's strong enough to follow through with it. So, as Ward and Russell will be joining the second group, the chasing group.
A little bit of stress around the top turn for the Belgians there on the inside and for the Danes at the back of the group.
8 back at the front. Renata Shea and Alexandra Barra coming past the start pontoon.
The same again today. You can see this race panning out in a very similar way to yesterday's race. Away go Che and Barra. They really need to be covered if they make a move because they are very, very happy to do the work out the front. South Africans struggling at the back of this group. But Belcher, here we go again. It's so similar to yesterday's race. Belcher and Mason are putting it into Che and Barra here.
4 boats together.
And this is great, great news. Danish, great decision to go in early there. It's waiting time for Kisley. She's in trouble. The Danes were the best on that by far. And they're away clear. They're going to work hard. The Hungarians in all sorts of trouble. Che has turned Kisley into the bank. Neither of them get away from the side. And it's still a 6-7 boat group. So the Danes doing really well. Great Britain, I think, will be lapping this up. Che in trouble going around the turn. It's just so unusual to see her so badly organised. So there's a big gap opened up, and that was all Che's doing.
Yep.
She couldn't get around the turn. Straight into the portage. It's Che first, Belcher second. At the back of the group was the Danes. Now Kisley out of the boat. So 1, 2, 3 is Hungary, Great Britain. The Danes in the gap is going to open up. The Spanish and the South Africans are in real danger here. The Belgians and Spaniards are gone. They're not going to make contact with this group again. And Belcher again, just as she did yesterday.
Oh, this is superb.
She is the dominant force this weekend. They'll run right to the end. Hungarians a bit better organised this time.
And it's the Danes who've again
Danes are in
chosen
trouble.
badly.
Not so clever this time from the Danes. They're still struggling to get their boat into the water. Belcher away, Kisley away, Che away. And this is brutal for all the other crews because I don't think this gap will close now. Kisley is working hard. Mihalic in the back, already world champion in the under-23s, is piling on. And this is now a 3-boat race.
The crews that are coming up to the top turn.
We saw Che really struggle on this turn on the last lap. Just couldn't seem to get the boat round comfortably. But no trouble this time.
That's far more like
and that's just positioning. She just positioned herself slightly further forward on the lead wash once Belcher gets the lead. And she's taking it from here. Now, all eyes for me on the Danes and how well they get around this turn because that's going to affect the Great Britain crew. And the Danes are doing a good job.
Giving Che something of a nudge.
Che's in
They're
trouble
taking
here.
Che down in the
Che
process.
is in big trouble here.
The Danes.
It's great
the
for the
Danes
South Africans.
Slingshot inside for the South African crews. Suddenly they're right back in the mix.
But really, that to me is taking it to Kisley and Belcher. There's only 2 boats now in this race. It's such small margins, but so significant. Kisley's in charge, but Belcher knows she runs well. Mason at this stage is never going to let Belcher down. That's a fact. Mason's weak point or vulnerable point could have been the midsection of this race, but from now on, Hayley Mason is going to be the strongest paddler in this group. She's going to go for it from now on. Che comes up to try and mitigate the damage, but damage has been done. Let there be no doubt. Che is in trouble. Danes are in trouble, and that's not helping the South Africans at all here. It's a 2-boat race to me.
Well, Che's coming up strongly on the right. So we turn the page, start the final chapter of what has been an absorbing women's K2 race.
50 metres to go, and the tension is building.
Kisley Mihalic, to me, still holding all the cards.
I just feel for the South Africans. This has gone horrible for them in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Like we thought, Kisley going fairly long. I hope the Danes don't impede the Brits. Boats are out. It's Kisley first, throwing her drink system off. But when they get on the flat, it's going to be Belcher running past, I think. Although Kisley is making a great job of this.
No gains being made by that blue boat.
Oh, my word, this isn't how we expected it to pan out.
Kisley Mihalic holding the
Belcher
cards.
struggling. This has changed the nature of this totally. I didn't think that Kisley would have those legs, but she has. And Belcher Mason now having to tough out
And the British
exact
boat.
opposite situation that they had yesterday. And absolutely now Kisley and Mihalic are taking this, and it's all gone.
And it's the Danes
It's
in
all
third.
gone belly up. The Danes are in third, and they could well finish third. What looked like a certain gold to me for the Brits has gone. Kisley and Mihalic so strong. They've got the lead and they're pulling away, and they are never coming back.
That's 1,000 meters at the front for them before they go and take that gold.
No problem at all.
Brilliantly
for Kisley
run
and
by the
Mihalic.
Hungarians.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, you didn't have that penciled in for that last portage.
I wonder if they've been hiding that. That was just
Of course they
20%
have.
better
Of
than
course they
anything else
have.
they've done all day.
We're actually stupid for not noticing because he raced exactly like that yesterday. She didn't show her cards until very, very late in the race and then threw it down in a counter, and she's done exactly the same thing today. She's been there and thereabouts and surprised Bocha. They appeared to be struggling early on, but they actually came out of that portage strong, and they're still...
Belcher done well to go inside them, and it's going to be Che. Che is going to be miles ahead, absolutely streets ahead, and the Brits have just lost their medal because the Danes are going to get onto the side of Che, or the picture coming down the last 500 metre looking like this at all. Belcher's coming wide on Che now. There's still a chance of a medal for Great Britain, but gold to Hungary by the Hungarians. Kisley obviously had control of the group.
Well, Vanda Kisley, the heir apparent in Hungarian women's canoeing, has just stepped up a notch.
This is tough. The way to deal with this, I think, is to sit back on the wash, wait for the first attack, and go second.
But the crowd here at Camps Drift rises
in the background. Belcher and Mason are taking on Che, but they haven't got it. It's Che all the way to the finish, but Kisley wins.
Kisley Mihalic are going to win by 40 or 50 meters. Here's the race for silver.
Vanda Kisley, what a weekend for her. It's going to be Che takes the silver. I'm really happy for her that she's come out of this with a medal. And Belcher Mason third. Great result for them. They would have taken that before the race. I really hope they could have come up with another goal, but it wasn't to be today. Kisley was too strong, and the Danes in fourth place. Huge cheer for the South Africans. They've done it. I think will be super happy with fourth place in that.
I think 4 and 5 are both stories of great heart and courage. They both slugged their way in and maybe punched a little bit above their weight. I think they can both be extremely happy to be on the front bunch.
The 20-second gap you see there between fourth and fifth is meaningless. Those South Africans could so easily have been in fourth place had the group shape not panned out to their disadvantage in the last few minutes before.